So regarding Antaranga sadhana and Bahiranga sadhana, Antaranga sadhana and Bahiranga sadhana, Antaranga sadhana which directly helps for knowledge, Bahiranga sadhana, it indirectly helps. So 1 or 2 points I have noted. There, Yajnena Danena Tapasa Nasikena Brahmana Vidishanti. Brahmana Brahma Jignasavaha. Those who contemplate or inquire into Brahman, they do yajna, dana and austerity, but without attachment to the fruits. Vividishanti.
Without attachment to the fruits.
Oh. Then it helps them because these are all indirect sadhanas, indirectly they help. So it cleans their mind, and in that, even if you want, you can include nitya karma, that the 4 stages of there. So first 3 stages of life, brahmacharya, grahastha and vanaprastha, nitya karma also if they do, the mind is clean. And the antaranga sadhana, it says, Sravana Manana Nididhyasana Shamadamari Shat Sampatti. In this morning we have included brahmacharya, celibacy, and by observing brahmacharya, one can easily come the attachment and the sorrows and malice, etc. And he says, the doing japa and meditation without the background of scriptural knowledge, and japa on a particular deity, this also helps as Bahiranga sadhana, he says. That is, it is antaranga only, because Sri Krishna says, Saddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara sanyatendriya. All the senses should be controlled. That means 11 senses it will come. So brahmacharya is included in the antaranga sadhana. Directly helps. But here he says, because it is told in the Shruti, Yajnena Danena Tapasa Anasikena Brahmana Vividishanti. Brahmana, it told, not particularly, don't take caste. Brahma Jignasava Brahmana. Those who wanted to inquire Brahman, they may be staying in any stage of life, but by giving dana and by doing austerity, without hankering for the fruits, then their mind is purified. After purification of the mind, they get discrimination and dispassion. They come to this samadhamadi sadhana, and then they can do the Sravana Manana Nididhyasana. Like that, he has given, and in that he says, because you are meditating on prana. You are meditating on prana, so you should not take whatever comes. And the foods what we take, they are divided into sattva, rajas, tama. This, it has been in detail told by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, but the Bhakti Yoga of Swami Vivekananda, it also clearly says about the foods. About the foods, which is Sattvic, Rajasic and Tamasic. And some smritis are there. Especially they divide all the foods. This is Sattvic, this is Rajasic, this is Tamasic. Like that also some are there. As far as possible, better to take Sattvic food and other things if we follow, it will help for knowledge. That is something. ఎంతవరకు అయింది ఇంతవరకు So page number 13, third para. Moreover, the scriptural text gives rise to different aspirations in respect of those two cases. Those two cases, those who follow the actions, those who follow the knowledge. Vedic passages that reveal the nature of dharma while inducing man to perform the rites which are their objects produce their knowledge in him. But the passages describe Brahman simply instruct man. See, the difference he is telling again. Those who follow dharma and perform rites, which are their objects, produce their knowledge in him. Produce knowledge, as I told you, nitya karma, japa, yajna dana, tapa, all these things, he says, produce knowledge in them. But whereas the passages that describe Brahman simply instruct man. You are Brahman, try to realize. Try to remove. No inducing into the action. Since knowledge is not produced out of injunctions. He says, knowledge is not produced by injunctions. A man is not induced to know. He is already Brahman, he is already Atman, he knows. Only had to uncover the ignorance. The case is analogous to this. An object of sense comes into being as soon as it comes in contact with the senses. So morning I told, as soon as you see this moon on the Ganesh Chaturthi, you will be having his knowledge. So, like that, you are having the immortal self in you as soon as you know, as soon as you experience realization. So, nothing to bring from outside, nothing to give up. Heya upaya. Heya giving up, upaya to bring. Nothing is there. But no knowledge arising from the contact of the sense with the object is produced. No knowledge arising from the contact of the sense with the object is produced. So, here you see the object is your own self. So, no question of production, anything. Therefore, it is imperative that something is to be said as to after which the inquiry into Brahman should follow. There in the Karma Kanda, those who follow the injunctions of the scriptures, it is told they should read Vedas, they should know the meaning of a particular action, and they should do the actions. So, after Swadhyaya of Veda, they will be doing actions. In the same way, when you say that you are inquiring Brahman, after what? That is presupposed, he says. This point is being explained. If one has satisfied the requisites such as, he is giving the requisites, discrimination between the eternal and non-eternal, nitya, nitya. Giving up the attachment to the enjoyments here and hereafter, here in this world, hereafter, from heaven to Brahmaloka, hereafter. Fulfillment of these 6 conditions such as Shama and Dhamma, Samadhi, Sampatti. The desire for liberation, one can inquire into Brahman even before the inquiry into Dharma or after. If you want to inquire into the Brahman, you follow Dharma. Afterwards, you can inquire into Brahman, or even before following Dharma also, you can inquire. But the prerequisite is you should have discrimination and dispassion. If that is not there, if you simply were going on translating the Upanishads, explaining the Upanishads like a Pandit, no use. It is not possible if it is otherwise. Therefore, what is meant by the word then is after acquiring the 4 means aforesaid. Sadhana Chatustaya Sampannaha San Brahma Vicharam Kuryat. The word hence, ataha, denotes the cause. What is the cause? He says, here and hereafter, the fruits are unreal, hence, I want to inquire into the...
Here in the paragraph it is written then, which is wrong because for the first word atha, he translates as then. But the second one ataha, he again translates as then, which is wrong. So it should be either therefore or hence.
He gives reason. That's why, what is the reason? The fruits here and hereafter are unreal. Hence, therefore, inquire into Brahman. The Veda itself shows results of Agnihotra and others rites, which are the means of attainment of prosperity or transitory, is evidenced by the passage such as, just as here, in this earth, the world gained by karma perishes, so also in other worlds, the world gained by righteous acts perishes. Here and hereafter, whatever you get through righteous actions, that perishes. Yat kratakam tad anityam. Whatever you produce, whatever takes birth, and that liberation is attained through the knowledge of Brahman, as evidenced by the knowers of Brahman attain the highest. Brahma vidapnoti param. In Taittiriya it has come. Therefore, the inquiry into Brahman is to be commenced after satisfying the requisites described above. That is, sadhana chatustaya sampannaha. Now he is explaining the aphorism.
Even Swami Vireshwaranand is translated as therefore for ataha. So then is wrong actually. Translating then for both the words is actually wrong. So ataha, the second one is therefore or hence. This is what Swami has said.
See, while translating, he forgot which word he is translating. So he put then. To support Panoli. I am telling to support Panoli. While translating, he forgot which word I am translating. That's why he has put then. So, Brahmano Jigyasa, Brahma Jigyasa. Brahmana is the sixth case. See, Brahmana, inquiry into Brahman, that is, it is the sixth case. It says some combination with other things. Ragyaha Purushaha, that means he is the soldier of a king, soldier of a king. So, what that of denotes? A connection between the king and the soldier. So, in the same way, Brahmanaha Jigyasa. Brahmana is sixth case. So, the inquiry that of Brahman or about Brahman, something should be there. You understood? Brahmana Jigyasa. Brahmacha Vakshamana Laksham Janmadhyasyata. And what is Brahman? So far it is not declared. It will be defined in the next sutra. Na Brahma Saddasya Jatyadha Arthantaram Ashankitavyam. So, you should not say that Brahman is having a particular species, particular caste, so jati. That particular, it does not belong to any particular species. It is not having any particular qualities, and no action in it. And it is unattached to everything. That's why he says, Atayeva na Brahma Sabdasya Jatyadi. Jati, Guna, Karma, all these things. Nothing is there.
Sixth case means
Genitive case.
In grammar,
Now it is coming. Don't worry. So, Brahmana iti karmani sasti. Brahmanaha, he says in the sixth case, genitive case. But he says, karmani sasti. Karmani, that means it denotes some action. Karmani sasti. How? Na seshe. Now, previously already he told, sesha sheshi. This you should always keep in mind. Shesha is part, sheshi is full. There he has given sheshi is Brahman, shesha is karma. Like that he has explained, Panoli. But what actually the subcommentator says, see, a full action is there, for that a part of action also is there. Those who are doing yajna for Swarga, so in the middle, if they have a desire for cow, they should bring the water with particular milking cow part. That is Adhikrit Adhikari. That is not Sesha Sheshi. Adhikrit Adhikari, what is this? That means you should have the eligibility. First what? To perform the Swarga Kamo Ejeta. You should be having eligibility to perform a yajna for heaven. And then In the middle, if you are having a desire for money, then another thing is so, because you see, the scripture had declared, Pasukamen, kya hai? Godohanena Pasukamaha. So, whenever you bring water, if you bring water with the milking part, you will not get money. Why? You are not having the eligibility. First, you should have the eligibility to perform yajna, which gives the results of heaven. Then, that is adhikrita adhikari. Eligibility is there, and again another eligibility you are getting. That is called adhikrita adhikari. But shesha sheshi means, now, dasapurna masabhyam sarga kamo ejeta. That is, in the full moon and what is the other one? New moon. In these things, you have to perform 6 yagas. Ido ejati, tanunu papu ejati, so many things are there in Mimamsa. So, when you are performing a yajna for heaven, you have to do these 6 yajnas. So, that is full, this is part. First you have to fill up the parts, and then you will be going to the full. That is called Sesha Sheshi. That he is explaining here. Don't take this Sasti as Sesha Sheshi. That means, for heaven you are doing a action. That is yajna. Swarga kamo ejeta. So, something is there. For that again doing something, that is 6 other these things are there. That also you wanted to do. Like that don't take here, he says. Like that, na sesha sheshi. That means, in actions, there is a possibility of the whole and part. But here it is not there. Then why do you say karmani sasti? That means, you see, already I explained this. If you say the king is going, king will not go alone. What do you understand? He goes with his retinue. In the same way, now whenever you say, inquiry into the Brahman, whatever antaranga sadhana, bahiranga sadhana, all these things are included. King never goes alone. That is understood. So, if you say inquiry into Brahman, it is not alone Brahman. The requisites are there, the followers are there. So, you should take all these things. That is called Karmani Shasti. That is Sesha Shasti, it goes to, so, in the genitive case, there are 2 parts in Sanskrit. One is Seshe and another is Karmani. So, don't take it as the part and the whole, but you should take as that which belongs to it. And then you see, if you go to 7th case, there are 3 parts. So, if you go to grammar in detail, you will understand. For the being, this is sufficient. So, na seshe. Brahmana iti karmani sasti na seshe jignasya apekshatva jignasayaha jignasyantar nirdeshacha. So, when you want to inquire about Brahman, the inquiry is necessary, and with that other inquiries also you should do. Now we are going to the English, only for this particular sentence. The inquiry of which Brahman is the object is termed the inquiry into Brahman, Brahmana Jignasa. Brahman will be defined as Janmadhyasyatha in the 2nd aphorism. Hence, by the word Brahman, no other meaning such as Brahmana caste is to be conceived. So, don't take any caste other things. That's why I am telling how you explain this word Brahmana, Brahmana, Brahma Jignasa Brahmana. Those who want to inquire Brahman, they are called Brahmanas. The genitive case, Brahmana, here denotes the object. Object what? Brahma. Not the general relation, for there must be an object for inquiry, and nothing other than the Brahman has been suggested as the object for the inquiry. Na sesha, if he says, there is no part and whole, but only inquiry into the Brahman. Only inquiry into Brahman, how it is possible? Without knowing, without following the instructions. That's why, again, he will be telling this thing. Nanu, Sesasasti Parigrahepi Brahmano Jignasa Karmatvam Na Viruddhyate. He says, why you are taking the Sasti in the other way? Why don't you connect it to the actions? Even if you connect this side of the genitive case, then also we can inquire into the Brahman. What is there? Then he says, Sambandha Samanyasya Vishesha Nishtatvat. You see, genitive case is having two parts. Genitive case you understand, so it is having two parts. One denotes action, another denotes object. So, don't go to the action side, go to the object side. That's all. That's why we say, if you know the grammar, it will be easy to understand. Anyhow. Nanu, now,
Swamiji gave an example of a sentence with this case where part is going to the action, part is going to the object.
Yes. So, there I told, if you say, if you karmani in the action, is it not? Or in the object. What is the object of inquiry here? Brahman. So take that only. But don't go to other place. Other place means part and whole will be coming. That is possible only in actions. But he says, why can't we take as parts and whole? Why we should not take? Even then, part and whole means we can inquire if Brahman may be there. That is putting a question. Evamabhi pratyaksham brahmanah karmatvam vusrujya samanya dvarena paroksham karmatvam kalpeto vetha prayasa syat. So, if you take seshe sasti, that is parts and this one, what he says, karmatvam usrujya, then you have left the object. What is Brahman? For inquiry, you have left. And paroksham karmatvam kalpayataha, some other action you will be creating, and all your exercise will be waste. That's why, that now you see. The genitive case of Brahman here denotes the object, not the general relation. So if you take the relation, what? Whole and parts. If you take the whole and parts, you will be giving up the whole and you will be remaining in the parts only. Then you will be losing the sight. That's why he says, for there must be an object for the inquiry, and nothing other than Brahman has been suggested as the object for the inquiry. Then the opponent says, Brahmana is the object of inquiry, is not opposed to even if the genitive case is meant as general relation. Genitive case is having two parts, object and general relation. General relation between whole and part. So even if you take the relation with the Brahman, there is Why we should not take it? Since in the latter the object distinguished by the relation also implied. Then he says, even if it be so, Brahman, which is the direct object for inquiry, will have to be given up. Instead, Brahman will have to be assumed as the indirect object, which is useless and tiresome. So, here you see, previously I have explained one thing. What? Upasana. I have explained the word upasana. What is upasana? Thinking or contemplating on a particular deity. So, you are Brahman, you are Atman, only one thing is there. So, why you are bringing another thing inside, in between? So, Brahman is separated, Atman is separated, in between a deity has come and sat. It is separating both of you. What is the use? Indirectly it is helping, no doubt. Same thing he is asking. So, then what the answer is given? You see, no doubt, even if you bring a object in between, it will be having connection, no doubt, but you will lose the sight of the original. And instead, Brahman will have to be assumed as an indirect object which is useless and tiresome. So, here he is telling about inquiry.
Swamiji says you are going to lose sight of the original. Does Swamiji mean that by looking into particulars in relation to the whole, we are going to lose sight of the original?
The thing is, he gets attached to that. And he thinks that duality alone is real. He will be staying there only. That's why, and the upasana, how far you have to do, till you realize the deity you have to do. Then only you can have the progress, otherwise no progress. So that's why he says, but here the question is not about upasana. Here the question is about the inquiry of the Brahman. You directly inquire, why you bring some other object in between? That he is going to say, that's all. So, inquiry has started. About what? About Brahman. So, why you go indirect way? Go direct way. So, better to take karmani sashti. What is the object of inquiry? Brahman. Bas, that's all. So, don't go either and there, here and there. Again, Purupakshi is asking something. Na vyartha brahmashrita ashesha vichara pratigyanarthatvad. See, when we take the sixth case as relation to something, but not as the object, even then it gets related to Brahman. So why don't you take? He says, it is not useless, for it is essential to bring together the entire thoughts bearing on Brahman. Brahman and all other thoughts. So everything we will combine and put on Brahman. So why don't you take like that? He says, Pradhana parigrahe tadapekshitanam arthakshiptatvad. You see, that's why again and again I give the example of illustration of king. If you take the main, subsidiaries will be following without asking. So why do you take the subsidiaries first? You catch hold of the main, subsidiaries will be following. Brahmahi jnanena aptum ishtatamatvat pradhanam. We wanted to experience Brahman. So that is the main thing. So make it main. Then तस्मिन् प्रधाने जिज्ञासा कर्मणि परिगृहीते येर जिज्ञासितैर्विना ब्रह्म जिज्ञासितं न भवति तानि अर्थाक्षिप्तानि एव इति न पृथक् सूत्रयितव्यानि. So, when you want to inquire the Brahman, by what you are going to inquire? By which way? How? All the things will automatically coming. So, you take only Brahman, he says. That is not so. When the principal object of genitive case is accepted, all other factors connected with it will become implied by themselves. Brahman indeed is the most important, since it is desired to be attained through knowledge. So that is the main. And again you must be giving the illustration. Yatha rajasau gachati ityukte saparivarasya ragyo gamanam muktam bhavati tadvat. That when that Brahman is accepted as the principal object of inquiry, all other objects of inquiry without which the inquiry into Brahman is not possible, becomes implied in it. They need not particularly be included in the sutra. Just as when someone says, there goes the king, the very statement implies that the king goes with his retinue, so also is it in the instance case. So, because there are, now he has used a word. What is the word? Athatho Brahma Jignasa. This Brahma Jignasa is a compound word. When you break it, it becomes Brahmana Jignasa. So, genitive case has come. In the genitive case, object is there and again connection is there. Genitive case can be used in two ways, object and connection. So, the proponent says you take the object of the genitive case. So why do you take the relation? If you take the object, whatever related, they will come automatically. So, better to take Karmani Sashti. On this particular, say, this Karmani Sashti and Seshe Sashti, the sub-commentator writes 3-4 pages commentary. 3-4 pages. You can see. So, if you go to the sub-commentary, you will lose the sight of the main commentary. He will be discussing so much. And everything is depending on logic. See, the Brahma Sutras are called Darshana Shastra. Shruti Prasthan, that's Upanishads. Smriti Prasthan, Bhagavad Gita. And Darshana, how many darshanas are there? We are having 12 darshanas. So everything will be discussed here. Then, at each and every step, all the 11 doctrines should be refuted. And you have to establish this. Everything goes by logic. So, now you see what the opponent says. The opponent is a Purvamimamsak. That's why you take Seshe Sashti. So, you should not think the opponent is a fool number one. He knows more than you, more than me. That's why he put such a question. That has to be very carefully answered. That only proponent can do. That's why here no opponent is there, only proponent brings the opponent to answer. Because thinking like this, the inquiry may be there, question may be there. So, this Vyasa, the Bhagwan Vyasa and Bhagwan Shankaracharya, presupposing whatever thoughts can come, because they are having the knowledge of past, present and future, they have written like this. यथा राजासौ गच्छति इत्युक्ते सपरिवारस्य राज्ञो गमनम् उक्तं भवति तद्वत् श्रुति अनुगमाच्य. And not only says, we are not giving only a relative illustration. Even the scripture is telling so. How? Yato va imani bhutani jayante ityadyaha sutayah tad vijigyasasva tad brahma iti pratyakshameva brahmano jigyasa karmatvam darshayati. So, even in the scriptures, it is told directly enquiry Brahman. Jigyasa karmatvam. That is, the Brahman is the object for enquiry. Tacha karmani sashti parigrahe sutrena anugatam bhavati. So, if you take the karmani sashti, that is, for enquiry, Brahman is the object, then only it coincides with the sutra. If you take this as a sashti, it will not coincide. Tasmad Brahmaniti karmani sashti gyatamichha jigyasa. Now you see, each word he breaks and he going on describing those things. Now jigyasa, enquiry. What is enquiry? You want to know. That is enquiry. You want to know. You want to know. Jnatamichha jigyasa. In Sanskrit, the jigyasa, the word, when you break, jnatamichha jigyasa. You want to know. Now, the desire to know. There are, a root verb is there, and then an annexure is there. There also you have to denote something, what it says. That enquiry with this jigyasa word, it is going on. Avagati paryantam jnanam. ये क्या है भाई? संवाच्यया इच्छायाः. Om. Now he says, you see, I am telling the meaning of the word jigyasa. Jnatamichya, jigyata in Sanskrit. Desire to know. But he says, avagati paryantam jnanam sanvachya ichchaya. Now what is the sun? In Sanskrit, he says sun. So, you should know how to break the words according to the grammar. Jna is the root verb and sun is the annexure. When you add the sun annexure, then when you want to make the meaning that a desire is there to know, then the word becomes jigyasa. From jna to derive to jigyasa, at least you have to apply 10 to 12 sutras. What is their work, how they are applied. So by that time, 1 hour will be over in grammar. So we are not entering there. The desire to know is there. That is the word jigyasa. But it is having two parts. One is annexure sun and another is the root verb jna. So when you combine this, it becomes jigyasa. This much. And again he says, karma phala vishayatvad ichchaya. Now whenever desire is there, results of the action should be there. Desire means results of the action should be there. Jnanena hi pramanena avagantum ishta brahma. So, how to know Brahman? Only through knowledge. Now, you see, to have a desire to know a particular thing is called jigyasa. If a desire is there, then fruits of action should be there. Then he says it is not necessary. Jnanena hi pramanena avagantum ishtam. That means, just by knowledge, I have seen the moon, I know moon. Bas, that's all. After seeing the moon, nothing should be brought. After seeing the rope, to remove the snake, nothing can be done. You are not going to do anything. Are you going to bring a big stick and want to kill the snake? Because you have seen the snake. It is only appearance. In the same way, here, after knowledge, nothing to do. Stay in that, that's all. Jnana nishta is necessary. Tasmat Brahma jignasitavyam. That's why one should inquire into the Brahman. When the principal object of the genitive case is accepted, that means it is karmani sashti. Karmani means the object of inquiry is Brahman. This much you understand. What is the object of inquiry? Object of inquiry is Brahman. All other factors connected with it will become implied by themselves. Brahman indeed is the most important, since it is desired to be attained through knowledge. How you want to get into Brahman? Through knowledge. So, when that Brahman is accepted as the principal object of inquiry, all other objects of inquiry, without which the inquiry into Brahman is not possible, becomes implied in it. They need not particularly be included in the sutra. Just as when someone says, there goes the king, the very statement implies that the king goes with his retinue, so also is it in the instant case. Besides, our interpretation agrees with the Shruti. That is, what we have told, that is agreed by Shruti also. There are the passages such as, from which all these beings are born, seek to know that is Brahman. Try to inquire into Brahman, that is Brahman. Told by Shruti. When there is a dispute in between the opponent and the proponent, who will decide which is correct? Shruti. So, Shruti is the proof of, valid proof. Taking Shruti, he refused the opponent. But the opponent is so clever, he quotes the Shruti only. Because it is told so, why you want to refute? That is why yesterday I told you should have thorough knowledge of the Upanishads. Then you will get joy. Then you will get joy when you are reading Brahma Sutra. Otherwise, at each and every step, why he has told so, why you should tell his opponent says something and proponent says something, what is correct? So simply playing what that easy chair. What they call?
When he says here, when Shankaracharya says here that knowledge based on valid proof is Brahman, that valid proof is Shruti.
It is proved by Shruti also. That's why he quotes the quotation, Tad vijijñāsatva tad brahma. Enquire into that is Brahman. That he says. Seek to know that is Brahman, would show evidently that Brahman is the object of inquiry. If the genitive is taken as denoting the object, the sutra too shall be agreeable with Brahman as the object. So, Brahmana jignasa means, what is the object of inquiry? That is Brahman. Therefore, the genitive case of the term Brahman denotes the object. Now, further is going that only 3 words are there. Atato Brahma Jignasa. Yes. elaborately explained Atha and Atha. And now he is behind Jigyasa. It will go on. Yat punha Brahma prasiddhi.
The English is remaining for the Sanskrit one actually.
Hmm?
The English is remaining.
No, I have read fully.
No, that is okay. You read up to Brahmana denotes the object. That is done. But here when you read Yatum Ichha Jigyasa, so this English is continuing, you see. అక్కడ కింద ఇంగ్లీష్ ఉంది కదా
అవును
16 పేజీలో అది చదవాలి ముందు.
జిజ్ఞాసితవ్యం బట్ అచ్చా ఇక్కడ ఎక్కడుంది
ఇక్కడ వస్తుంది కదా చదివితే. The word jigyasa means the desire to know. Here it is Yatum Ichha Jigyasa.
తస్మాత్ బ్రహ్మ జిజ్ఞాసితవ్యం జ్ఞాతుమిచ్చా జిజ్ఞాస.
So last 3 lines of Sanskrit, the translation is continued after this para.
Oh,
If you read, you will.
he says జ్ఞాతుమిచ్చా జిజ్ఞాస. So we want to know. That's why we are inquiring. Avagati paryantam jnanam sanvachya ichchayaha. So when you add the root verb jna and the annexure san, it becomes jigyasa. He says it will be up, it goes up to the meaning of experience of Brahman. Avagati paryantam jnanyasa. Karma phala vishayatvat ichchayaha. He says, whenever desire is there, fruit should be there. Jnanena pramanena avagantum ishtam. Through knowledge we wanted to experience. Brahma avagatir purusharthaha. So, what is the main object of a human being? What he has to get? That is knowledge of Brahman. That is Nishesha samsara bija avidyadi anartha nirvahanat. So, completely with the seeds, he wanted to remove all the worldly things. Tasman Brahma jigyasitavyam. That's why we have to inquire into Brahman. These 3 things have not come here.
These
3 lines. 16. So, first we have to go to English. The word jigyasa means the desire to know. The meaning of suffix san implies in this word is desire and its object is knowledge, which implies realization. So, 2 words are there. In this word is desire and its object of knowledge, which implies realization. So, jignasa, not simply inquiring and sitting. How far it should go? The inquiry should go till realization. We say, what is the second sutra? The second sutra says, chitta vritti nirodha. How far it should go? Till the mind is completely purified. Because simply removing some impressions and keeping some other things will not do. Chitta vritti nirodha. So, you want to control the mind. How far? That he has not read in the aphorism. So, you have to supply some meaning. How far? Till the mind is purified completely. So, how far you will inquire here? Till you realize Brahman. The object is knowledge, which implies the realization. For the primary object, desire is the result.
It has been said during these classes that the soul subject matter of the Brahma Sutra.
Huh?
The only subject matter of the Brahma Sutra. In each sutra is Brahma. This is the
Inquire into the Brahman.
inquiry into Brahma. Now, can we say that the only subject matter of these sutras is inquiry into the Atma?
Ah.
We can.
That is why he says Saririka. Brahman is not having a sarira. In Nirakar Nirguna. A body. A body, who is possessing a body? A self. An individual self. So he says, Saririka Mimamsa. What is there in the body that we are inquiring? So you can tell Atmana, but that which is there in the body, as Brahman you have to say. That's all. So Atmana Jignasa.
Swamiji, would it be right to look at it, I am Atma, Brahma?
I am Atma Brahma.
It's the right way. So, in every sutra and sutra, there is an inquiry into the Atma. With the understanding of I am Atma.
Yeah.
So, when we say self-inquiry, that's the meaning.
Self-inquiry, Brahmana Jignasa is nothing other than because the heading is Brahma Sutras. And for that he has given another name, Saririka Mimamsa. Mimamsa means inquiry. Again, that which is in the body. So, then he says Brahman, you are says in the body. How the connection? They are not different. For the primary object of desire is the result. No.
One more thing, Swamiji, just to clarify. We have mentioned the Mahavakyas. But one Mahavakya, we have studied the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and there we have the Mahavakya Aham. We have studied the Mandukya Upanishad, and there we have the Mahavakya Ayamatmata. We have studied the Chandogya Upanishad, and there we have the Mahavakya Tattvamasi. But we did not study Daitareya Upanishad.
No.
But to my memory, there we have the Mahavakya.
Prajnana Brahma.
Prajnana Brahma. Brahman is consciousness. The definition Mahavakya.
Aitiri. It told Aitiri only. No.
This we did not study. So when we say, I am, when we say, I am Atma Brahma, this self is Brahman, the meaning is consciousness.
Yes. Everywhere only consciousness we have to conclude. But they just make little difference in these things. So, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi, the word that is the, say, instruction. And Prajnanam Brahma is the definition. Aham Brahmasmi is that we have to say knowing. Aham Brahmasmi. And I am Atma Brahma is experience. So, Aham Brahmasmi is something like Savikalpa Samadhi. And I am Atma Brahma goes to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And the other two things, Tattvamasi is the instruction and definition. Like that, it is only a particular notion of particular Swami. He says like that. But the main thing is only in everywhere consciousness comes. What is desired to realize through knowledge based on valid proof of Brahman? The realization of Brahman is the object of human life since it destroys totally the evil known as avidya, which is the seed of samsara, transmigratory existence. Therefore, the desire to know Brahman is to be entertained. Up to this, the translation should be above, but it has come below. Because of the mistake of the computer typing. Not computer, this is hand typing. Hand. Because he has not read Brahma Sutra, so where to put what? How he knows? So, typist. So, if you want, you can add this para in page 16. If you want to have the correct connection between the Sanskrit and English, the see, in the 16th page, the last para should come in between the Sanskrit and the English. Already it is outside hot, and inside we are making the brain heated, so don't worry. It is very difficult to say. Now we are going to the 16th page, the middle para, Sanskrit. Tat punah brahma prasiddham aprasiddham va syat. Now again he is putting a question. That what you are telling about the Brahman, is it famous or not famous? Prasiddham va prasiddham va. Yadi prasiddham na jigyastam. If it is famous, what is necessary to inquire into it? Everybody knows. Ata aprasiddham naiva sakyam jigyasam. If it is not famous, nobody knows, then what is the use of inquiry? See, both the sides he says.
Swamiji, famous means well known.
Well known. What he reads here, let us see. Now that Brahman should either be known or not known. Well known or not known. If known, it is not to be inquired into. If not known, it is not possible to inquire into. So both the ways, he put the question. Now it is answered. Atha aprasiddham naiva sakyam uchyate. We are giving the answer. That's why he has put in bold letters. Uchyate. That is, opponent's question is over. Now proponent. Asti tavad brahma nitya suddha buddha mukta swabhavam sarvagyam sarvasekti samanvitam. Yes, Brahman is there. It is eternal, it is pure, it is full of knowledge, it is full of liberation, bliss, and it knows everything, and it is having all the powers. Sarvashakti matvam. Brahma sabdasya hi utpadyamanasya. If, according to the grammar, if you derive the Sabda Brahman, all these meanings will be coming. That he says, Brahma Sabdasya Utpadyamanasya Nitya Suddhatvadayo Artha Pratiyante. Nitya, it is eternal, Suddha, pure. How? That also he is writing. Brate Dhator Arthanagamat. Bruhi Vruddhav. The root verb that from which, the Brahman has formed, the root verb is Bruhi Vruddhav. From that root. That means it has expanded so much. There is no other thing equal to that. Bruhi Vruddhav. So, what will be the such an expanding object? Besides Brahman, there is no other object. And Arthanugamat means by enquiring the meaning of the root verb, you will come to this Nitya Suddha Buddha Mukta Swabhava Atma. Sarvasya Atmatvacha Brahma Astitva Prasiddhi. And it is known, it is famous, because it is the self of everybody. Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Desya Jintistati. Sarvehi Atma Astitvam Pratyeti. Everybody knows that he is existing. Na naham asmiti. Nobody says I am not. Yedihi na atma astitva prasiddhisya sarve loka naham asmiti pratiyat. If the existence of the Atman is not famous, then everybody should say I am not existing. Nobody says so. Atma ja Brahma. That very Atman is Brahman. So, he is giving the definition below. Yaccha apnoti, apluvyaptau, which is all pervading. Yad adatte, which takes everything into it. That means, when dissolving, everything goes into it. Yaccha atti, atti means a particular adhikarana it comes, atta charachara grahanat. Atta means eater. So, charachara grahanat, what is living, what is not living, everything it is dissolving, it is taking food as food. That means it is Brahman, dissolving. Dissolving. Laya is told. Echati vishayaniha. That means which eats away all the objects. Ichhasya santato bhava, which is there always. Santata means as if flow, santato bhava. Tasmad atma iti bhanyate. That is why it is called Atman. So, this is the definition of Atman. That he says, Atma ja Brahma, that is Brahman. Yadi tarhi loke Brahma atmattvena prasiddhamasti tato gyatmeva ityajigyasana punara. When you say the very Atman is Brahman, everybody knows Atman, so he knows Brahman also. Then what is the use of inquiry again? You have started such a big book. Na tad vishesham prati vipratipatte. You see that what is Brahman? Regarding that, so many doctrines are there. So how to decide? We have to defeat all other doctrines, and we have to prove this alone is. That's why we are starting inquiry. Vipratipatte. Now, Vipratipatti Parigananam. How many doctrines are there? That is counting, he says. Sunyavada Madhyandikaha. The Madhyandikas are wide, followers of wide. Kshenika Vijnana Vadaha, he says momentary. Yogacharanam. Their name is called Yogachara. And Jnanakara Anumeya Kshenika Brahma Bahyarthavada.
Yogachara is Vijnanavada.
Vijnanavada. Kshenika Vijnanavada. Here it is, given it is. And again, Bahyarthavada, that outside objects are there. He tells something. Bahyarthavada Sautrantika, they are called Sautrantika. Kshenika Bahyarthavada Vaibhashikaha. Outside things are there, but they are momentary. That is Vaibhashikaha. Deharthavada Charvakanam. And the followers of nihilists are Charvaka, he says, only the body is Brahman. Atman. Dehadi Atirikta Deha Parimanavado Digambara. Though it is different from the body, it is size of the body. Jaina followers says. Tippan over?
Yes.
Acha. Still so many thoughts are there. Nyaya is there, Vaisheshika is there, Yogacharya, Yoga is there. That he has not
He is
mentioned.
taking 6 schools of Nastika, you see. These 4 are Bauddha.
These are 6 Nastikas. And their 6 Astikvadas are there. Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga, Sankhya, Purvamimamsa, Uttamamimamsa.
But here is mainly taking Nastika.
Nastikvadas.
Nastika is heterodox.
Non-believers in Veda.
These are the heterodox.
Heterodox.
Yeah, maybe I don't know that word, but normally
We say in English orthodox and heterodox.
but normally
But we say the followers of Vedas and non-followers of Vedas. So those who are not following, these called Nastika. Non-believers of Vedas and believers of the Vedas. So believers of the Vedas, to some extent it comes to 6, and non-believers comes to 6. Now that Brahman should either be known or not known, page 17, second para, Purvapaksha, అయిపోయింది. నువ్వు ఎక్కడ ఉండి నేనే చేసేది. After finishing only we have come here.
you read up to Pratipattehe, then you went to the footnote. Deha matram chaitanya visishtam atmeti bhasata.
But again here confusion will be there, where, up to what?
That I will tell you.
देह मात्रम चैतन्य विशिष्टम आत्मा इति प्राकृता जना लोका इति कहा. Now he told you, see, there are so many different thoughts about the Atma, so many different schools. So now he is telling about Charvaka. Charvaka says that only the body is the Atman. Indriyani cha Indriyani eva chetanani iti amare. Indriyani iti atma iti apare. That is in Charvaka there is another branch is there. They say, one fellow says only body is Atma. Another fellow says only senses are the Atma. In Charvaka.
Only
Senses. That he is telling. Mana iti anye. And in them itself another branch is there. Mind is Atman. Vijnana matram kshanikam ityeke. That it is full of knowledge and it is only momentary. Sunyam iti apare. Somebody says it is void. Asti dehadi vyatiriktam samsari karta bhokta iti apare. Yes, something is beside the body, it is there. It is the doer and enjoyer. Bhokta iti kevalam na karta iti. Somebody says it is only enjoyer, but not the doer. Asti tad vyatiriktam Ishvara sarvajna sarvashakti iti kechit. So, beside the enjoyer, beside the doer, some Ishvara is there. That somebody accepts. And he is all-knower and all-powerful. Atma sabhokta, Atma sabhoktur ityapare. The Atman is there for the enjoyer. Like that somebody says, for the enjoyer. Bhokta ityapare. Yevam bahavo vipratipannaha yukti vakyas tad abhasa samashayaha santaha. So there are so many disagreements among the doctrines and the disputants. They give the reason and they give the sentences also, and it is only like a reason, abhasa, appearance of a reason, not actual reason. We are going to give the real reason. Tatra avichari yatkinchit pratipadyamano nisheshat pratihanyate. So, pratihanyeta, if without inquiring, if simply you accept something, you will be going away from the realization. Anartham chiyat. When you want to get realization, again you will be going around the world. Tasmat Brahma Jignasa Upanyasa Mukhena. So, just by inquiring the Brahman, Vedanta Vakya Mimamsa, we wanted to inquire and all the sentences which denote Vedanta, tad virodhi tarka, tad avirodhi tarka upakarana nishchesa prayojana prastuyate. So, whatever supports the Shrutis, that logic we will take, which will be helping you to the realization. If everyone knows Brahman as identical with the self, it again goes to show that since it is already known, none need desire to know it. We need not know it. So, this is not so. For there is difference opinion regarding. This is Samadhana.
No, now that Brahman should either be known or not known. That is Purvapaksha, Paina Purvapaksha.
That is already read. If everyone knows Brahman as identical with the self,
దాని పైన ఒక పూర్వపక్ష ఉందండి, అది చదవాలి.
is it? Acha. Everyone is conscious of the existence of the self, for none is unaware of the fact.
Now that Brahman should either be known or not known.
Acha. Ikkadi nuncha.
అది మీరు సంస్కృతం చదివి ఇంగ్లీష్లో ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసేసారు, బట్ యూ హావ్ నాట్ రెడ్ ద ఇంగ్లీష్.
Oh. So, page 17, second para English. Now that Brahman should either be known or not known. If known, it is not to be inquired into. If not known, it is not possible to inquire into. He says, this is being explained. Brahman, that is eternal, pure, intelligent and free, omniscient and all-powerful, certainly exists. From the derivation of the word Brahman, the meaning such as eternal and pure becomes evident. So, derivation in the means through grammar. It is in accordance with the root Briha. I told you, Briha Vruddhav, which means to grow, that we get all this. Briha means to grow. It has grown so much, nothing else is there besides that. The existence of Brahman is well known from its being the all-self. It is the self of all. Everyone is conscious of the existence of the self, for none is unaware of the fact, I exist. If the existence of the self were not known, everyone would have the notion, I exist not, and the self is Brahman. So, nobody says, I exist not. Now he says, if everyone knows Brahman as identical with the self, it again goes to show that since it is already known, none need desire to know it.
Swamiji, in relation to this, that if the existence of the self were not known, everyone would have the notion I exist not. And the self is Brahman. Is this related to Spurna?
Self, this existence, Purana we can say,
Spurna,
feeling of the Atman.
feeling of that.
So he gives the answer, this is not so, for there is difference of opinion regarding its real nature. So, you cannot say everybody knows Brahman. You know your own self. But regarding that self or Brahman, so many schools are there, so many thoughts are there. The illiterates and lokayatikas, he says, lokayatikas, illiterate. Why illiterate? He says, he believes only in the body. And nothing besides that. That is Brahman, he says. So, he says, Radam krutva ghatam prabhet. If you are not having money, take loan from somebody. If you have taken the loan from all the people of the town, in overnight you go to another town, far away. Then and start taking loan and eat nicely. Ranam krutva ghatam pribhet. Basmi bhutasya dehasya punah putaragamanam. When once the body is become ashes, again where it will come from? So, just take loan and eat. That is their principle. That's why it says illiterate. Illiterate in the sense they don't know scriptures. And they know only the Atma, as body. Illiterate lokayatikas, materialist, that's why he puts Charvaka materialist thing, that the body endowed with intelligence is the self. Others hold that the sense organs endowed with intelligence are the self. Yet some others regard the mind as the self. Others again think that the self is the flickering consciousness. Momentary. Yet some others regard it as the void. There are others who think that the self is distinct from the body. Other schools are there. But is the doer and the enjoyer subject to bondage. But though they accept the self as different from the body, but they say it is doer and enjoyer subject to bondage. Dualist. As some hold that it is merely the enjoyer, not the doer, Sankhya. Some say that there is a Lord omniscient and all-powerful that is distinct from the individual self. Achintya Beda, something Visishtadvaita. It is. Again, some others say that the self is the Lord of the individual self, that is the enjoyer, only enjoyer, no doer. Thus, there are many conflicting views presented logically, scripturally, and falsely. They take the support of the scriptures. They take the support of the logic, but abhasa. That is just appearance of logic. If any of these views is accepted without due consideration, it will drag one away from liberation. If you consider them, you will be away from the liberation, leading ultimately to evil. Therefore, beginning with the inquiry into Brahman, the investigation based on the Vedanta text, accompanied by the consistent arguments, proceeds with liberation as its object. What is the object? Liberation. And taking into consideration Vedanta text and supporting the Vedanta logic. With this, we have finished the first sutra. So, 2 minutes rest. Again. Now for the Adhikarana, we are having, as I told, 5 parts. First, what is the context? It says, you say you have to inquire into the Brahman, and its definition is not given, it is not proved. Then without giving the definition, without proving, how we are going to inquire into it? So, this is put, that is the context. Because you have not what Brahman is, you have not defined, you have not given proof. Then he says, the subject matter of this particular Adhikarana is that the qualities of Brahman, Lakshana, or definition will be given. Then a doubt is there, whether it is having any definition or qualities or not. Brahman in having any qualities or not. Then the opponent says, you say the sutra Janmadyasya yatah. That is, Janma Sthiti Laya. Birth of the universe, sustenance and dissolving. This belongs to the world. How can you put this to the Brahman? Janma Sthiti Laya, that is creation of the world, sustenance of the world and dissolving the world. They belong to the world. How can you say they belong to Brahman? Satyam Jnanam Anantam. And you say Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. It is truth, it is existing, it is knowledge, and it is bliss and absolute. And these things are not famous. The absolute bliss, absolute knowledge, absolute existence, these are not famous in the world. So how can we inquire? That is the question. Then he says, the Brahman is the cause for the creation of the world. And the creation is from Brahman, so he is the cause for the world. Now he is giving the example, illustration. You are seeing a snake on the rope. So what is the cause of the snake? Rope. So in the same way, you are seeing Brahman, but you say it is the world. So where from it has come? It has come Brahman. Without Brahman there is no world. So as the base and support for the whole world, Brahman is there. And through indication, these all the words, existence, bliss, knowledge, will be denoting Brahman. Then he is giving, whatever you say, whatever is silver, that is mother pearl. Whatever I have seen as silver, it is mother pearl. So in the same way, whatever I see as the world, that is Brahman. And now you are telling that the silver and the snake are not there. They appear. When you go and see near, it will disappear. So, if what you have to say, the creation of the world is at times it is there, at times it is not there. And for that creation, as you see the snake at times, after going near you don't see. In the same way, the creation, sustenance and dissolution are there in Brahman at times, and at times it is not there. How? Again he says, you see, I am telling it is the some John's house. Some John. So, how you, that is John's house. How I am to identify, see a crow is sitting on that. Because it is John's house. And then, but crow is not to say, he is not going to sit there all 24 hours. At times it sits, at times it goes away. But it has indicated the house of John. In the same way, this, the creation, sustenance and dissolving indicates Brahman. Where from the creation has come, where the sustenance is there, where it dissolves. Yato vaimani bhutani jayante. So, and then he is giving a illustration. Illustration.
Swami Ji gave the illustration of the crow sits on the house of a certain person. Then we say, where the crow is sitting, this is the house of this person. But then at a certain point in time, the crow is going to fly away. And that time the indicator of the house flew away.
Ah.
So now,
But it is indicated and then went away.
yeah,
Ah.
the indicator went away. So now there is nothing to indicate the house. Now Swamiji says creation, preservation, destruction, similarly, are the indicators of Brahman.
Yes.
But like the crow, they are not always there.
They are not always there.
So when they are not there, they are not there to indicate Brahman.
Yes.
But when they are there,
They indicate.
they do indicate.
That is why it is called Tatastha Lakshana. At times it is there, at times it is not there. And Swarupa Lakshana, this says, it is existence, bliss, knowledge absolute. That is the Swarupa Lakshana. But both the Lakshanas are in the world only. In Brahman only Neti Neti. Now he is giving another illustration. A man that is wealthy, he was taken away by the thieves and they took all the money and they left him in the forest. So, one wanted to kill him, another wanted to tie him, and finally they have tied him and thrown him into pit. So, so when he is shouting, somebody else comes, that the third fellow comes, and he releases him from all the ties, and he shows his way to his town. But he is not coming. In the same way, here also, whatever the scripture indicates, through that you can realize Brahman, he says. Now, the opponent is...
Swamiji, can we say that the Swarupa Lakshana is always there?
Swarupa Lakshana, when the creation is there, then only.
Only when the creation is there,
Ah.
there's means existence, knowledge and bliss are not always there.
As long as you are there,
Yes.
your existence, knowledge, bliss is there. So for you there is no more creation when we leave the body. So in that sense I think they have told Swarupa Lakshana.
So Swamiji, Swarupa Lakshana relates only to the time when the physical body is there.
In the present tense.
So when I have the sense, I exist.
Hmm.
That sense relates to the temporary existence of the physical body. And when that temporary existence is not there, that sense also will not be there.
Yes, because when body is not there, the existence is not there. You have already realized, we can say. So for you there is no body. For this also, I have given an example, illustration. Two persons were there and they were standing on the bank of a river. And there was a flood in the river. And one fellow says, you see, something black I am seeing. So the other fellow says, why don't you bring it? It may be a good blanket. So he has jumped, and when he wanted to, then a bear caught hold of him. Then he says, the world is dissolving, world is dissolving. He cries, Hare. Then they brought him. Hare, you are telling, you are drowning, and you are telling the whole world is drowning. What is this? I say, after my drowning, where is the world for me? So I am telling now world is not there. So it is something like that.
Swamiji,
Uh,
so when he is drowning,
uh,
the physical reality is not there for him.
uh.
But what about the astral reality, subtle body?
Subtle body, see, now we are not going into the details. We affirm that we are Atman. So, for her, after realization, world is not there.
This is what I'm trying to understand.
Ah.
When Swamiji says, when the Lakshana exists as long as the body is there,
Yes.
does Swamiji mean body consciousness?
We can say the existence of I, but until and unless you dissolve the body consciousness, you cannot realize. Even after realizing and staying as Jivan Mukta, we say only Brahman is there, the world is not there. It is appearance, we say. So after leaving the body, what to talk of the appearance of the world? So, for Videha Mukta, there is no world. Oh, in that way, but you see, when Sri Krishna says that Sahasrega Paryanta Maharaj Brahmano Vidhu, so we cannot compare that age. Only this 1000 Mahayugas is 12 hours for him. We are not even staying in one Mahayuga. What to talk of 1000 Mahayugas, one Brahman. That's why the world is eternally, it is there. For us it is not there. Because we have left the body or we have realized. When you have realized, we have become Brahman, one with Brahman, and for the realized person, the world is only appearance. When it is appearance, we say it is not there. So, now he is telling, you have not given any definition, you have not proved that Brahman is there, and how to meditate, how to inquire. For that he says, Janmadhyadhikaranam, that inquiry into Brahman is told, what is the qualities of it, lakshana, or what is the definition. Tad Brahma ityataha Bhagavan Sutrakaraha. That Lord Vyasa is telling, Janmadhyasya yataha. Janmadi. In Janmadi, it is a compound word. It is called Bahuvrihi. Asya Jagataha Janmadi yataha. That means, the creation of the world, where from it has come, that is Brahman, only indicating. Where the crow is sitting, that is Brahman. That is somebody's house. So, where from the creation, sustenance, dissolving are there, that is Brahman. Asya Jagataha Janmadi, that is the creation, sustenance and dissolving, these are there, where from, that is Brahman. Yataha. Janma utpattir adirasiti tadguna samvijnana bahuvrihi. You see, I told bahuvrihi. In bahuvrihi, two differences are there again. Now, we already came to know that in the sixth case, two things are there, connection and the object. Now, that is case ending. But this is a compound word. And so many compounds are there. In this particular compound word, there are two differences. Two types of compound word, Janmadi. First, you understand that by the meaning. Now, when I say, whoever has seen the sea, you bring him. Whoever has seen the sea, ocean, you bring him. So that person will be coming, ocean will not be coming. That is called Tadguna, Atadguna Samvijnana Bahuvrihi. The quality is not coming with the person. But if I say, oh, one who is having a big belly, bring him, the person will be coming and the belly also will coming. So that is Tadguna Samvijnana Bahuvrihi. Now you have to take here the second case. Tadguna Samvijnana Bahuvrihi. That is yes. With the belly. Janma Sthiti Bhanga. That means Janma Adi, etc. Etc. means don't give up Janma and only take sustenance and the resolution. You have to take the Janma also. Janma Sthiti Bhanga Samasa Arthaha. That is to make a compound word. Janmanasya Aditvam Shruti Nirdeshapeksham Vastrutapeksham. Now he says, why you have used the word, the creation in the beginning? Says, Janmanasya Aditvam Shruti Nirdeshapeksham. To tell, indicate about the scripture. Yato vaimani bhutani jayanti yena jatani jivanti yat pratyabhisham vishanti thi. That is the scripture. To tell, the scripture also is there, which is telling the same thing, to indicate that Janmadi. Shruti Nirdeshapaksham Vastu Vrittapeksham. And we are telling about a substance, that is where from the creation has started. So, the creation was there, that where from it has come, the substance also is existing. For that, we have already told that when we take pot, we will prepare from the clay. So we know clay is there in the pot. Without the clay, you cannot prepare the pot. In the same way, if you want oil, you are taking sesame seeds, but not other things. Why? You know the oil is there. That means the creation of the world is there even before creation. That's why we call Satkaryavada. That creation is there as the cause before creation. That is called Vastu Vritti. Vritti means existence. The substance which you are calling Brahman, it is already existing. Vritti, and this scripture also is telling. Shruti Nirdeshtavat. What the scripture is telling? Yato vaimani bhutani, where from the creation has come, where it is staying, sustaining, where it dissolves. That is Brahman. Tad vijijnasasva. Try to inquire into that. Iti asmin vakye janma sthiti pralayanam krama darshanat. The creation, the sustenance and dissolution are in a succession, it has been told. Vastu vrittamapi janmana labdha saptakasya dharmina sthiti pralaya sambhavat. Now, the another word he has used, vastu vrityapeksham. That is substance is there, which you call as Brahman. That is, he says, Vastu vrittamapi janmana labdha saptakas. If something has been created, it should have sustenance, it should have dissolution. So, that the very birth indicates that substance is there, where from the birth has come, and it will be having other two. Vastu vritti. आगे वस्तु वृत्ति जन्मना लब्ध सप्ताह से धर्मिण स्थिति प्रलय संभवात. आगे now you see in the sutra 3 words are there. Janmadi asya yataha. So far he has described Janmadi. Now asya. Asya jagataha. That means this world. Asya iti pratyakshadi sannidhapitasya dharmina idama nirdesha. Asya means that what which we are seeing as the world, we are indicating that asya sashti janmadi dharma sambandhartha. Then you are, this asya is again sixth case. How you are telling the sixth case? Then he says, Janmadi dharma sambandham, that which is having the connection of creation, sustenance and dissolution. So, asya, where from this has come? From that. That is Brahman. Yatah iti karana nirdesha. Where from it has come? That is the cause. So, Janmadi asya yataha means where from it has come. That means it is indicating the cause. So that cause is Brahman. Where from the part has come? From the clay. So in the same way, that's why in the beginning I told a lesson. What is the lesson? Whenever you see a rope, then only you can superimpose a snake. Without the rope, there is no snake. And in the seemingly snake, there is no rope. So when Brahman is there, then only you can see the creation of the world. Without Brahman, there is no world. In the seeming world, there is no Brahman. Bas, over, Vedanta. Yatah iti karana nirdesha. Asya jagato nama rupabhyam vyakritasya अनेक कत्व भोक्तु संयुक्तस्य प्रतिनियत देश काल निमित्त क्रिया फलाशयस्य मनसापि अचिंत रचना रूपस्य जन्म स्थिति भंगयतः सर्वज्ञा सर्वशक्तेः कारणात् भवति तद ब्रह्मा. Now he says, you see, the world is so big and there are so many names and forms are there, and they are all now, they have manifested. Then so many are doing so many works, so many doers are there, so many enjoyers are there, and everybody has to be allotted his own fruits. Kartru bhoktu sanyuktasya pratinita desekala nimitta kriya phalashayasya. Whatever action you do, for that reaction is there, fruits are there, and where you get, how you will get, where from you will get, how you will get, all these things are decided before itself by somebody. Without knowing, he cannot give. Where you have to take birth, where, how much you read, how much you study, how much you will be earning, what you are doing, where you will die. These things are decided before. Who will decide? One who knows about your birth. That is why he says, niyata, it is controlled. One who knows all the names and forms, residing in them, he alone gives the fruits. That is why he is called Sarvajna, Sarvam Janati. He knows everything. And then, Pratiniyata Desekala Nimitta Kriya Phalashayasya. The actions of a particular doer and the fruits he will be getting, somebody should know. That is Sarvajna Brahmana. Manasapachinta rachana rupasya. And you cannot imagine even the creation with your mind. He says, for example, they take the body. How many things are there? So many experts are there. Experts of the eye, experts of the ear. Even then, they cannot do some. So, and daily some new diseases are coming. By the time they have found the medicine for the old disease, a new disease is coming. Where from it is coming, how it is coming, where it is coming, and you eat and sleep and somebody is digesting. All these things. Somebody is there, it is proved. So he says, this creation you cannot think of with your mind. That's why he says, one particular atom like is a atom. It enters into the womb of the mother and a boy comes out. That itself is a great wonder, he says. Sureshwaracharya. Manasapi achintya rachana rupasya. You cannot imagine with your mind janma sthiti bhanga yataha. So, the whole world is controlling, is giving the fruits of the actions. For this particular world, that birth, sustenance and dissolution is coming from something. That existence should be there. That he is Sarvajna, he knows everything and he is all-powerful. Karanat bhavati tad Brahma. That is Brahman. So, this is indicated meaning. This is Lakshana. You told there are no Lakshana, no definition. We are giving the definition. Tadastha Lakshana. No, no. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is Swarup Lakshana. Yeah. Anyeshamapi bhava vikaranam tishve antarbhaviti janmasthiti nashanam iha grahanam. Now, whenever a body takes birth, yes, jayate, asti, vardhate, viparanmate, vinashyati, nashyati. 6 are there for a body. 6 things are there. You are telling only 3. We say that these 6 are included in the 3. Because whenever birth is there, asti, jayate, vardhate, vipranamate, pranashyati and nashyati, 6 are there for a body. All those things are included in that, he says. This is tickbit.